Inside voices, please.
Look at this guy.
Chill out or get out.
Jon Taffer isn't just a bar expert, he's a human tornado of tough love, screaming matches, and no-nonsense business advice. But let's be real, some bar owners just can't handle it.
Use your inside voice.
Are you gonna use your inside voice? You're bumming me out, man.
Good, I want to.
The Brixton, a punk bar located in the vibrant heart of 6th Street's hipster district, was facing imminent closure. Just as its future seemed grim, Tim and Sarah Lupa, a couple with big dreams and bold plans, swooped in, determined to rescue it from its downward spiral. Tim's wife was convinced she had the perfect solution: keep the bar as is, flash a smile, and rely on her charm to attract customers. But Tim, he had his own ideas, and let's just say they weren't exactly the winning strategies they needed.
I don't like frat boys, tourists, college students. What's up, d***?
Here's the deal. Tim had zero tolerance for anyone, literally no one. In his eyes, the Brixton wasn't a chic cocktail lounge, a trendy mixology bar, a lively club, or even a laid-back sports bar. No, it was none of those things. According to Tim, the Brixton was a place for people to come in and get humiliated. And once you understand how Tim viewed his own bar, it's easy to see why it was spiraling toward disaster.
What do you want? We're not the kind of bar that begs for business.
Tim's aggressive attitude had turned their no begging for business mantra into something far worse. They were now teetering on the edge of begging just to survive. But the bar wasn't the only thing crumbling under Tim's toxic demeanor. Enter Sarah, Tim's wife, and let's just say their relationship wasn't doing much better. In fact, it was hanging by a thread. Barely.
Anytime there's a customer
I don't
that's
want to hear
annoying
it.
you,
No.
you know what?
No, it's too late.
You.
When Jon arrived at the Brixton, he immediately saw its potential. It should have been thriving. The location was prime, with plenty of bar traffic, and Tim had a background in marketing for a Fortune 500 company. So why was it failing? The answer was shocking. Jon shared the content Tim had posted on the bar's page with an expert, and trust me, it was enough to leave anyone speechless in disbelief.
Sorry we had to close early. Was full.
In any other bar, if the manager had made such a move, the owner would have fired him on the spot. But here's the twist: the owner himself was the one causing the chaos, almost as if he didn't want his bar to succeed or turn a profit. Jon dug deeper, reading an online review, and what he discovered was utterly baffling.
Went in the back room with a female manager. I think they were married and argued for about 40 minutes while no one was behind the bar to get us a drink.
The disregard for customers was absolutely unreal. Jon had his recon team go inside the bar, and when they asked for the bartender's recommendation, just like any regular customer would at a decent bar, the answer they got completely shook Jon.
My favorite is the mule because it's easy to make.
The mule is easy to make.
And get this, Tim actually tried to justify his lack of drink-making skills by claiming that customers in that area only wanted shots or beers. Seriously? That can't be true at all. To top it off, the one drink he actually made was a complete disaster. But the real kicker? His reaction to the feedback from the recon, it was nothing short of mind-blowing.
That's some pretty sour man.
Whatever, you know.
A guy like that just sucks the energy from the room. He never adds to it.
But the recons gave him one more chance to redeem himself and ordered a martini, which he made in a shaker so they could see how it was gonna be. But when the recons expressed their dislike, he didn't just shrug it off this time. He took it even a step further, and his next move just left everyone speechless.
You ordered it.
There's no way to talk to your customers.
What does taste right?
Now, to be honest, I couldn't catch much of what Tim was saying with his loud voice drowning out everything else, but hey, it's a bar, right? People are there to have a good time. But Tim? Oh, he went full-on high school teacher mode, and his interactions with the customers? Well, let's just say it got awkward in a hurry.
Inside voices, please.
Look at this guy.
Chill out or get out.
Come on! Those were the only 4 customers that had come in that night, besides Jon's recons, and he screamed them away. And get this, he didn't even care when they left. But then, Tim's wife, Sarah, seeing all of this, decided to take matters into her own hands. She took back the drinks Tim had served, remade them for the recons, and guess what? They actually liked them. But instead of feeling relieved, how Tim reacted next? Well, you won't believe it.
Did we make those right?
It's actually really good.
You know why? Because I didn't touch the bottle, probably.
It was painfully obvious. Tim couldn't stand that his wife was stepping in and doing a better job than him. Talk about a bruised male ego. He cared more about being the alpha than actually running a successful bar. Jon had seen enough and knew it was time to take charge. He didn't sugarcoat it. Tim didn't know how to make a single drink on his own menu. But what Tim said next? Well, that made it clear he was in way over his head.
I know how to make them. Just because it's not exactly to their taste doesn't mean that I'm doing it wrong.
Now, there was one more glaring issue Jon couldn't ignore. Tim's attitude with the customers was absolutely unbelievable. So when Jon tried to talk to him about not treating customers like they were 5 years old, Tim crossed yet another line. His passive-aggressive nature was on full blast, and it was impossible to miss.
Use your inside voice.
Are you gonna use your inside voice? You're bumming me out, man.
Good, I want to. You ripped my
Hey, how about you do your
damn job.
This is degrading.
King in his castle.
So, JJ Gruder, a former punk rock artist, wait, scratch that, a failed punk rock artist, thought he could take a stab at the bar business, dragging along his best buddy, Randy. The two of them seemed stuck in a time warp, acting as if they were still in their 20s, partying all night without a care in the world. The night Jon arrived, well, JJ and his so-called staff had already hit the leave button, with JJ himself leading the way. He was exactly where you'd expect, casually drinking and bellowing across the room without a single thought about the bar's future. Classic JJ. The whole vibe of the bar was a complete disaster, and it all led back to JJ, not just because of his lazy attitude, but the way he talked about his own customers. You won't believe it.
blonde with the tits naive, whatever.
The blonde with the
My
tits.
God.
Exactly. Oh my god. And those words came straight from JJ. No surprise the bar was practically empty. A woman stepping into that bar was probably a once-in-a-lifetime chance. The place felt more like his basement hangout than any legit business. And his knowledge about bartending, somehow even worse.
Cherry lemonade. Cherry lemonade. I don't know what's on that menu Jacob put on there. I don't know what the f it is.
I have no idea what I'm making right now.
Can you believe that? But wait, it's about to get worse. What came next was mind-blowing. This owner was so careless that the people he hired to help run the bar would leave you speechless.
Look at him. Is he drunk?
Stop.
If there's anything worse than a clueless drunk owner, it's a drunk bartender hired by said owner. It was like JJ had recruited his buddies to not just run the bar, but run it into the ground. The one person really holding things together was Jacob, the bar manager. But instead of managing the bar, his main job was managing JJ. Because JJ, he was an absolute disaster.
I don't make the situation easier for him, I know that, but he overreacts.
I sometimes want to hit JJ in the face.
And was JJ at all grateful or respectful towards Jacob? Nope, not at all. This guy was so entitled, he'd just sit in the corner with his friends and ignore the chaos around him. Jacob even asked him to restock toilet paper, and JJ's response? Why should I? But what Jon witnessed that day, it crossed all limits of shamelessness. While Jacob was rushing around trying to keep the place going, actually working to serve customers, JJ did something that'll knock you off your feet.
How about you do your
Damn job.
This is degrading.
This was beyond humiliating. It's like JJ thought he was king of the bar and everyone else was his servant. Jon was in shock, but it didn't end there. Completely intoxicated, JJ started searching for his next target like a schoolyard bully. And who did he land on? Randy, his bartender, and also his so-called high school best friend.
Don't punch me anymore. I swear. Oh, you're burning my arm.
But Randy wasn't about to take it lying down like Jacob. Right then and there, he decided to give it back. What followed next? Jaw-dropping.
What happened?
Oh my
There you go.
God.
JJ's behavior was beyond belief. How did he expect his staff to be loyal when he degraded them at every turn? Honestly, it was painful to watch. Jon had seen enough to know who the problem was. It was confrontation time, and you know Jon doesn't hold back. He was absolutely furious, and why? Just take a look.
Now, get down there. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
I've never seen anything like this.
I'm gonna you up.
Jon called JJ out on his behavior in front of everyone. It was time for a reality check. And what happened next? It was an unexpected twist that left everyone floored.
Degraded him. Now I degraded you. How do you like it?
Whoa! That was brutal, but let's be honest, it was necessary. Then Jon did something right again by calling Randy forward and letting him call JJ what he truly was, an asshole. This seriously boosted Randy's confidence and finally forced some embarrassment onto JJ. Did JJ finally look remorseful? Nope. He stood there, one elbow on the bar, watching it all with this smug grin on his face. Jon knew JJ hadn't learned his lesson yet. What he did next was unreal.
Laid out on the floor.
I'm not getting on the floor.
Then I'm not rescuing your bar.
Did JJ just say no? Jon wasn't having any of it. He gave him a final ultimatum. Make a change or Jon would walk out for good. And that was it. JJ finally got it, and there he was.
Now you know what it's like to be a degraded piece of
Flat on the floor, just where he deserved to be. But he's not the only owner due for a reality check. Enter Brad, the owner of City Bar, who's about to face the hard truth of his own making.
Back on doo-doo patrol again.
Even on a normal night,
across space with chains.
Before Brad opened the bar, he was riding high on corporate management confidence, thinking he had it all figured out. That was until reality hit, and things spiraled faster than a drink on a slippery floor.
But he began to realize it was a gamble he might soon regret.
Brad was drowning in $140,000 of debt. Pretty typical for a bar rescue disaster, but here's the twist. He hadn't made a single dollar since opening. No surprise his temper was hanging by a thread.
What the man? Back on voodoo patrol again.
All this yelling over someone puking in the toilet? Imagine the chaos if it had been on the bar floor. And Brad? No cleaners, no effort. He couldn't even bother to clean it himself. Real classy management, right?
Can't run this business with everything breaking down.
He has his bartender cleaning the toilet.
Imagine ordering a drink from the same guy who just cleaned the toilet. Brad didn't even attempt to cover it up. Then Jon noticed something bizarre outside, and when Brad explained, it somehow made everything 10 times more ridiculous.
Man can hold a sign, so instead of having one of those sign spinners out there spinning the signs, I thought I would try it.
Then there were the bartenders supposed to work together, but instead, it was like a competition to stab each other in the back.
They hate each other, don't they?
The recon wrapped up in pure chaos and disaster, but just when Jon and Brad thought it was over, someone walked in. Their jaws hit the floor. Yep, it was about to get even wilder.
What the hell is that?
It's like some type of frost.
The real kicker, Brad was just as lost as Jon. The customers completely freaked out. What was about to unfold was way beyond the average bar visit. They were in for more than they ever bargained for.
So somebody's gonna get spanked?
I guess.
I'm not in that drawing yet.
That's gonna hurt.
Turns out, it was Tuesday Fetish Night, organized by bartender Kim. The level of insanity completely blew everyone's minds. Even Brad was stunned. Clearly, he had no clue it had gotten this out of hand.
Even on a normal night at City Bar, we usually have cross space with chains.
I'm convinced this was practically illegal, especially after Kim proudly spilled her master plan like it was genius.
When Brad leaves or isn't around, more of who we actually are as a community comes out.
The nerve to call this a community was next level delusional. Brad finally got why Jon dragged him here. It's not the terrible drinks, it's this mess. And shocker, they even roped the customers into this circus.
You lightweight, don't you know this is Vegas? If you remember your trick, you are not doing it correctly.
You know what? I need a fall guy.
This was spiraling out of control, and Jon wasn't buying Brad's I had no idea act. Maybe if Brad was blind, sure, but watch his top-tier performance after this ridiculous revelation, it was Oscar-worthy or not.
I have told you, this stuff cannot happen in the bar. None of this stuff comes into the building. I leave, and then it comes into the building.
After Jon slammed the nonsense, the real work kicked in, bartenders trained, the place cleaned, a plan made. The final turnaround? Absolutely breathtaking. If by breathtaking, you mean a miracle wrapped in sheer determination. But the real showstopper? Brad himself. I mean, seriously, did you even look at him?
I would have walked right by you, Brad. He looks more successful, too, doesn't he?
Taffer thought he'd seen it all, until he met owners who were drunk on the job and ready to argue. When Jon walked into this bar, his hopes were sky high, and honestly, why not? The bar's history is so wild, it deserves its own soap opera.
Had the first liquor license issued after Prohibition in 1934. Wow. So this is really a local jewel in a sense.
The bar was losing $4,000 a month, and Jon's kid and house were barely holding on. Louis, let's just say, family man wasn't exactly in his vocabulary.
He's been known to say some vulgar things to women that maybe shouldn't be said.
The recons walked in and instantly regretted saying yes to this nightmare. The shady vibes were overwhelming, but the decor? Oh, it was a masterpiece of bad taste. Then Jon saw it, a sight so absurd, even chaos would have cringed.
Those certain times they just slap things up on the wall.
These dildos hanging on walls.
The disgust was contagious, a masterpiece of customer repellent design. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, oh, it somehow managed to sink even lower, digging deeper into the abyss.
I think it's a baby with. Is that a cockroach? Disgusting.
What started as harmless banter spiraled into full-blown chaos. Even the mayor, no stranger to their antics, couldn't deny it. This wasn't just foolishness anymore. It was a front-row ticket to total mayhem.
I've never seen this level of buffoonery from a bunch of
The recon team was trapped in a room with tacky decor and lukewarm beer, peak hospitality disaster. But then came the moment that would go down in bar rescue history. And let's just say it wasn't pretty.
So look at this. My recon spies are so uncomfortable, they're actually leaving.
They promised never to return, and Jon? Disappointed, absolutely. But deep down, he should have thanked the universe they left, because Louis' next move? It wasn't just bold, it was a level of madness only he could achieve.
I'm not gonna let this happen.
Jon stormed in, and the room went dead silent, tension thick in the air. Chaos was coming, but Jon, completely unfazed. His nonchalance was almost funny, like he hadn't gotten the memo about the disaster heading his way.
You should wear a ball cap to hide the ball spot.
So is he this much of a jerk all the time?
Jon, desperately trying to reason with a semi-sober Louis, uncovered the harsh truth. Louis had zero clue about his own business. Then, Louis laughed in Jon's face. Big mistake. Jon was done. He wasn't having it anymore.
This is freaking serious, and if this is a joke to you, then tell me, because it's not a joke to me.
And that means you don't take your pants down.
Jon locked eyes with Jon, who was swaying like a tree in a hurricane, completely hammered. But Jon, oh, he wasn't about to let this walking disaster slide for even a second. Not on his watch.
This man is months away from losing his house. And you can't even frickin' see me, you're so damn drunk.
Embarrassing, that's putting it mildly. Jon's fury could have knocked sense into anyone. But Jon? Nope. Instead of backing down, he did the unthinkable. He doubled down on his complete and utter nonsense. It was a disaster of epic proportions.
Listen, this is Youngstown. You work hard, you play hard.
At that point, Jon, or anyone, was powerless. Jon was beyond saving. In one last effort, Jon tried to make him face reality, but Jon's response, pure disrespect, no filter, and absolutely zero self-awareness. It was a disaster.
Look in there, see the face of your son? Then drink it, ass.
It's a better looking face than yours.
Jon hit his limit. Forget saving the bar, Jon had the nerve to disrespect Jon Taffer himself. Oh, that wasn't happening. With zero hesitation, Jon shut him down harder than the bar's plummeting sales. It was pure perfection.
Go sit down in the corner like a child, you ass.
Watching Jon stumble around like a drunk toddler, Jon knew there was no saving him. As Jon walked out, most owners would have panicked. But Jon? Oh no, he threw out some hilariously ridiculous comment instead.
Hey, before you leave though, go yourself. Come here and come and do a shot for you, pussy.
Jon was livid, but kept his cool as he walked out. Meanwhile, Paul's stupidity skyrocketed, and Louis, he completely reversed his brief spark of sense. The customers? Yeah, they were just as embarrassed as everyone else.
Tomorrow I'll listen to him. Tonight, him. I'm drinking. I don't give a.
This guy was a whole circus, but the next owner? Not just a douchebag who had something to say about Jon Taffer's wife. And you know Jon wasn't about to let that slide.
You have any kids?
No.
You want one?
Oh, wow.
Are you kidding me?
You're hitting on my wife.
Listen, I'm not hitting on your wife. If I were hitting on your wife, we'd already be out of here.
Back in the late 70s, Sand Dollar was the place, hosting blues legends, yes, BB King level icons. But trends fade, and so did its glory. Now, under Lisa's leadership, it's sinking faster than the Titanic, with just as much chaos.
Lisa thought that by simply hosting blues bands, she could restore the Sand Dollar to its former glory.
Naturally, the crowd aged with the bar. Lisa, the 10% owner, was stuck slinging drinks just to keep the lights on. Enter Paul, the other owner, and her ex. Yep, their history could fill an entire soap opera season.
Lisa and I met when I was going through a divorce. She was the hottest girl ever.
Paul and I sort of dated, but it was never taken too serious.
Exes running a sinking bar. What could possibly go wrong? Paul, with the charm of a parking ticket, had a special talent for driving customers away. Lisa, stuck in the chaos. Confused? Trust me, this train wreck is one for the ages.
Don't come up to me with half your titties hanging out and not expect me to look and comment on them.
This dude was way too relaxed for someone buried under $300,000 in debt. Jon Taffer stormed in with his experts, and for recon, his wife Nicole and her friend. Their first impression, so bad they probably considered running for their lives.
If it wasn't for Nicole, I would have never, ever, ever in a million years set foot in this disgusting bar.
Not a single bartender in sight, the blues band serenaded an empty room, and the poker machines totally abandoned. Jon was beyond livid, and the cause of this utter disaster? Well, it was shockingly simple and absolutely absurd.
How much money can it do?
In a typical gaming bar, you're looking at about maybe between $2,000 and $3,000 a day.
Basically, $750,000 just sitting there untouched. But hey, those machines weren't making money anytime soon. Not with a bar that couldn't attract customers. And the drinks? Let's just say detestable is putting it kindly.
Is he using a plastic cup?
Yes.
What's with the plastic cups?
That's what we serve out of.
Plastic cups, because who wouldn't want to sip a cocktail like it's lemonade at a 5-year-old's party? But wait for it. Nicole and her friend ordered the most basic drink ever, and that's when the whole situation went from bad to tragic.
You wanted a what again?
Oh, a screwdriver. They don't even know what we just did.
Wow. I don't see any orange juice in there.
A pink screwdriver, yes. You heard that right, a first. No orange juice in sight, just some bizarre concoction that'll leave you questioning how this guy even dared to call himself a bartender.
What did you put in that?
Vodka and cranberry.
She's got a vodka crayon.
He doesn't even know how to make a screwdriver.
Nicole and her friend guzzled down those awful drinks just to escape the misery. Desperate for redemption, they turned to the food, only for the bartender to drop a bombshell that confirmed they were stuck in a full-on dumpster fire.
Maybe I'll just get something to eat.
Oh, yes. I would love to.
What do you guys have to eat?
We don't have food here.
You don't have any food?
No bar snacks, not even a single peanut. As Nicole was still trying to process this disaster, guess who walked in next? Dr. Paul, the in-house train wreck. Nicole asked for a sex on the beach, and his response, purely unbelievable.
Bags of sand out. We need a beach.
Do you always talk to women like that?
I have no filter.
Like my wife would want to sleep with that idiot.
Oh, he didn't stop at Nicole. Nope. She dodged the awkwardness, and he went straight for her friend. What did he say next? Enough to make you want to jump through the screen and smack him. John definitely thought about it.
You have any kids?
No.
You want one?
Oh, wow.
Are you kidding me?
This was the moment John realized why no women ever entered this place. Paul had chased them all away. Just when you thought he couldn't sink any lower, he managed to hit a whole new level of disgusting.
All right, let's paper, rock, scissors, okay? Or put in one finger or two. Odd even. Call it.
That's disgusting.
Paul was completely out of control, so Nicole dropped the "I'm married" bomb, hoping he'd back off like any decent person would. But no, Paul didn't flinch. Respect? Clearly that word was missing from his vocabulary.
You're married?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm just saying, every now and then, you gotta go on vacation.
Paul, thinking he was some kind of smooth operator, was really just a walking disaster. John, holding on by a thread, watched Paul push every button possible, then came that moment. John's patience officially gone.
Just from looking at the bend of your arm, I can tell you what your vagina looks like.
Paul had the nerve to grab Nicole, pulling her arm for his creepy experiment. That was the final straw. John stormed in ready for action, then Paul said something so insane it completely set everything off.
You're hitting on my wife! Listen, I'm not hitting on your wife. If I were hitting on your wife, we'd already be out of here.
And there you have it, some of the most explosive moments when bar owners thought they could take on Jon Taffer and failed miserably. From screaming matches to complete meltdowns, these stubborn owners learned the hard way, Taffer does not lose. Which meltdown had you shaking your head the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you love the chaos, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more bar rescue madness. Oh, and if you think this was wild, just wait until you see what happens in this next video. Trust me, you need to watch all the way till the end.